There's a short delay.
Okay, where did I go for this for the chat? Gotta go to YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we are live for this evening. People in the chat, welcome. It's good to be back in the live saddle again. I think that was a song. That was by Aerosmith. Yeah, I'm back in the saddle again. It does feel good to be back. So I know it's been about 3 weeks. I'm okay health-wise. I'm doing good. That's not a problem. Just to let you guys know, in case you're wondering. So tonight's topic will be why Ubuntu is so popular, why I believe it's the king after 16 years they've been in business. So just to get a few things out of the way, thanks all you folks in the chat for waiting for another live show. Thanks to the TOS community for sponsoring this live show. It's made possible by you, so we'll get that out of the way. I do have a new affiliate link below in the show notes if you would like to sponsor this, or not sponsor the show, but help out the show. I got contacted by a company a few months ago, some of you hair care company, Simpler Hair Color. They say, hey, we like your channel. Please check this out. And if you like it or not, give us a honest review. So I got the product, tried it, loved it, sent them feedback back and forth. They sent me an affiliate link. It's below in the show notes. They offer 100% money back guarantee. And I think that's fair. So now, there you go. That's the business stuff out of the way. DT is in the house. Welcome, DT. Arch, the God Emperor of Linux desktop. Too much Vegemite, buddy. Oh, no, just kidding.
He's still eating that stuff, huh?
I think he stopped. I think he had enough. What's up, DT? It's good to have you in the chat. So,
how you doing, Derek?
Hair care for all the Linux graybeards. Yeah, you know, before they sent me that thing, I was looking at the video. And I'm like, you just put this on a brush, you comb it in your hair, like you comb here on your beard. And man, this is just too easy. So I tried. I'm like, man, this thing is so easy. You know, cover all the gray. So I did it. I tried it twice in like 3 months. I'm like, it didn't burn my skin. I mean, I know a hot Italian, but I don't want no burning skin, you know. So it worked. And anyway, one of the few corporate, you know, companies that I believe in because I use the product. So. Super said, hair dye is bloat. Well, some people think hair is bloat. DT says he's never been approached by any hair care companies for sponsorship. It helps to have little hair.
You would think one of the razor companies would.
Maybe you get an affiliate link by a razor company.
That's what he's doing with the Vegemite.
Okay. Razor blade. Yeah, you know, you have to shave it, right? I don't know. It's just a thought, DT. Yeah, I don't know how they knew that I used hair color. I don't know. I mean, were they spying on me? You know, I'm glad glad that they did though.
Hey, it's our genetics. Mine goes great. Got some in there. Goes, let it go.
It's here at the ends, you know, it starts at the ends, and 3/4 times just, you know, put the black in. It was nice because they send it in a kit. It's a kit with the little pouch and the brush. You just spray it on, boom, 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 done. I'm like, man, this is too easy. This is like Ubuntu. Nice.
Hey, no, just let it go. Let the gray go.
Okay. All right. So thanks everybody here for joining me. My winning team is back again for tonight. I didn't know what to call this. A Linux A team, the Ubuntu show. Maybe I should have called it the Linux U show. I don't know.
Maybe the B+.
Ooh.
The Linux B+ show, right? That's supposed to we did. Really? Okay. Why is Ubuntu so popular? I call it the king of the Linux desktops. I've been doing Ubuntu Linux for 16 years. This channel, its 10-year birthday was just March, last month and a half ago. So thank you for 10 years of, you know, the Total OS Today channel. All right, let's go back to 2004. Okay. When the Windows XP is still king, right? YouTube does not exist. YouTube started in 2005. So yeah, I started the channel in 2010. So it was a few years after that. Chromebooks don't exist at the time. Chromebooks started in 2011. If you mention Linux to someone back then, maybe even now, but back then, if you say, you know what's Linux? That's probably what would have happened back then. So along comes this dude named Mark Shuttleworth. He created Canonical that makes Ubuntu. I'm thinking at that time, he's an entrepreneur and all that. He says, you know what? I think Linux has a future, and Linux can't compete with the big boys, Windows and Mac. And I bet that's what he was thinking. And he starts to create a Linux-based desktop for the masses, and maybe one day can be better than Windows. I actually think now it is, but we'll talk about that later. So he called this thing Ubuntu, an OS with a funny name. So I'm sure a lot of people at the time, I'm guessing, you're going to do what? You're going to call it what? They probably called him nuts, goofy, insane. In Italian, we say pazzo, crazy.
Or Stugatz.
Strunato, Yeah, Tim knows what I mean.
Yes,
So who knows what the people said, right? So to me, looking back, hindsight's 2020, but I think Mark had enough guts, nerve, intelligence, cojones, that's a Spanish word, look it up. He had enough guts to say, you know what? I think I can pull it off. My team can pull it off to create a system based on Linux to compete with Mac and Windows. Now, it took a while, and here we are. So I distro hopped for 10 years, from 06 to 2016. And in the end, I'm grateful for what I did, self-taught, learning different systems and how things work. But in the end, I thought, this is stupid, because all I was doing, hopping from bugs to bugs to bugs to bugs. And I found myself going back to Ubuntu, okay? It was never the opposite. It wasn't like, man, I tried Ubuntu, but it was just too stable. I wanted to go to Arch or, RPM based, BSD, LSD, MSNBC. No, I'm just kidding. But I kept going back to Ubuntu because the least amount of issues, and when there was an issue, it was either fixed relatively soon with an update, or it was relatively easy to find the issue myself through a friendly forum, a few terminal commands, and in some cases, maybe reinstall the entire system. Very rare. But I always found myself going back to Ubuntu because of the least amount of problems. So it was Ubuntu or Ubuntu based. Of course, I use Ubuntu Mate, Linux Mint, Zorn, Linux Lite or whatever, and Peppermint, and the list goes on and on and on. So what I think Mark has done with this Ubuntu over the years, I think they have created a global Linux empire of a quality standard equal to that of Mac or Windows. In fact, now I think Ubuntu surpasses Windows 10 in the quality standard. When was the last time an update broke my Ubuntu system? I don't know, or broke something. When Windows does an update and trashes your start menu, that takes talent. But I lately, when I say lately, 4 years, I don't recall an update really trashing my system to the point where I had to reinstall it, or I was really ticked off. I don't see it. I'm not saying Ubuntu is perfect, but I don't see that as I read and see in Windows 10. So if it wasn't for Ubuntu, I wouldn't be here. Last time I checked, there are about 25 million users of Ubuntu. I can't verify it. Let's just say there's a few out there. And did you know that Ubuntu has been mentioned in TV and film, such as The Big Bang Theory? I didn't know that. I think it's Sheldon, the character of Sheldon. He says, "Oh, Ubuntu, I love you," or there was a scene in the TV show. And it's great. I haven't seen Arch Linux mentioned or BSD or something else. Nothing wrong with those, but I just don't hear that or see that in TV or film. It's always going back to that Ubuntu base. All started off in 2004, really by a guy who just had a vision. I guess in some ways, the way Steve Jobs had a vision way back when and started this empire, Ubuntu in some ways is an empire. So here we are today, and not bad to Mark Shuttleworth and the team at Ubuntu, all the people who make this wonderful system. So as we say in New York, use Ubuntu and forget about it. So Let them know. So finally, I just want to say that Ubuntu means humanity towards others. Looking back, it's a great name. It's a great meaning. And considering what's going on in the world today, we could all use a little bit more of humanity. So that's why I think, all things considered, in 16 years since its inception, to me, Ubuntu is the king of the Linux desktop, because there's always talk about it. There's always a variation being released, Ubuntu, Lubuntu. I mean, the list goes on, you know. And they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Well, Ubuntu deserves all the attention they can get. So hats off again to Mark Shuttleworth and the team at Ubuntu. And that's why I think Ubuntu is the king of the Linux desktop for the masses. Maybe not for the geeks or for the hardcore users. I totally get it. For you, it may be Arch or something else, and I understand that. But I think for the masses, for the mom and pops, nothing can beat right now. Nothing can beat Ubuntu or Ubuntu based. Putting aside the Chromebooks, and they sell and they work. I'm not including that in this conversation, but strictly Ubuntu. Gentlemen, those are my thoughts. Tim, I know you have only Ubuntu now. And
No,
why
I
do you have it? Wow.
Well, I went back to it because I was looking very forward to the new release of 2004.
Yeah.
Had a big problem with the 19.1 series or version of Antics, even though I still have the 17, again, .4.1 on the other machine. Looked very forward to it. Had our friend Joe Panico build a computer. We put it on it, and I'm just glad I'm back on it. I don't know, just glad I'm back on it. Everything works well. Well, I know that it uses a lot of memory resources, but I got plenty enough memory, so I'm not worried about it. And I'm just a general user. I don't do everything that everybody else does. So for my certain workflow, she works fine. So no matter what I need to do, she works.
Okay.
And the thing is, I was very happy with 1604. Started out with 1404. And then between that is when I went to MX and Antics. And just very happy to be back on Ubuntu. Glad I'm back with it. Very impressed with Alan Pope and Martin Wimpress. Very impressed with them. And they're a big part of the reason why I went back to Ubuntu, the original Ubuntu.
Okay.
Not all the other flavors. I really like the way that the 3.36 version of GNOME that they put together. Everything just works well, and I'm very happy with it. So
it just works. It just works.
It just works. As a matter of fact, I put it on the other Dell 70. What is that? The 70 Optiplex 7010 that I have. Put it on that too. Just works.
Nice.
Just works.
I have
no problem with it.
I did see DT made a point. He says, I would love someone to drop a line like, by the way, I use Arch in a movie or TV show.
Okay, I got one for you. As they all sit there and say, by the way, they use Arch. Well, by the way, I just use Linux.
Okay.
How's that?
I could see Arnold doing in Terminator. By the way, I use Arch. No,
I use Linux. By the way, I use Linux.
Arch Linux. No.
There's no Windows here. It's Linux all the way. I don't have a Windows machine running at all.
Okay.
Don't care to.
Cool. So there you go.
So by the way, I use Linux.
Ubuntu can't compete with the big boys. Yeah. Vince,
I'm impressed.
What do you use?
Well, I'm one of those people. I'm on Arch.
Oh, you traitor! Not good. It's fine. It's fine.
But I've been using Ubuntu as well, on and off on my laptop, and I'm telling you, this new 20.04 release is absolutely solid. They've got GNOME right where it needs to be. It's sweet. Runs very, very smoothly. And I've tested out some of the other flavors too. And there's just so much variety, so much choice out there that there's pretty much should be anything for anyone's needs or anyone's tastes in terms of desktop environments. I think the tricky thing for any new user is that there's so much choice.
Yeah.
And so you have to get over that aspect first. The thing is that you're the one who gets to choose. So don't let anybody else tell you what you should and shouldn't do. That's the beauty of open source.
I agree.
And Ubuntu typifies that.
Totally agree. It's all about choice. Yeah. Dan, what do you use now?
I use LMDE4, which is basically Debian with the Mint Cinnamon desktop on it.
Ubuntu is based off of Debian, so that's close enough. Yeah.
The reason I use that is probably because I don't need all the extra stuff that comes with Ubuntu to actually do what I need to do. I do have an Ubuntu disk here. It's Ubuntu 9.04. I assume that's 2009 this came out.
Okay.
If it's 9.04.
Makes
So
sense.
Back then I was interested. I took a look at it. I probably kind of like was in Windows world still, and I had a lot of proprietary software I paid money for Windows, but I was curious. So I took a look at it. I also have the 9.10 version as well. So I took a look at it. Ubuntu, they're moving right along. People keep forgetting that there's a lot of other distros out there that depend on the Ubuntu strain to actually help make their distros work. So it's, you might find, even though you got something else you downloaded in it, the back end of it is Ubuntu. And
well, yeah, I think Ubuntu hit its peak in 2016 with the Unity desktop, but then they decided to switch to Go to GNOME. So it's almost like they're starting all over again. But that's okay. They've got the team to make it as polished as Unity was 4 years ago. It may take a while, but Ubuntu definitely hit its peak, I think, in 2016. I had it on 2 machines, and it was flawless. I was
Yeah, the 1604.
Yeah.
Back to your original question too. It was like I went back to where I started from.
Right.
Very happy with it.
I did take a look at the 2004 version. The thing that disappointed me the most about it is it no longer supports my printer, and that's that.
That should change soon, I would imagine, with the updates. Yeah.
I think it's just because the printer is getting old, and I think as the other distros start, moving along too, they're going to drop older equipment, and I'm pretty much thinking that might be the case. I know for Ubuntu around here, a lot of the colleges use it. It's not such a distant operating system that people think it is. There's places where Ubuntu is used quite heavily. My second cousin come home from college with a USB stick with his professor gave him, and he didn't know what to do with it, and it said Ubuntu 1804 on it. He wanted me to install this and make it dual boot on his laptop because he needed the Ubuntu to actually get into the school server.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we couldn't get it to work on the laptop because the way HP had locked down Windows on that particular computer, but we did get it to work on his desktop. And he had to take a class on using all the command line commands and stuff like that, and learning them and all that. And there's places where Ubuntu's used that people really do not think of. It's used in a lot of places. There is a Ubuntu Server Edition that's used, and a lot of businesses to actually run servers for companies and stuff like that that's maintained. And, Canonical is going to be in that market too, because they can't do Ubuntu completely for free.
No.
Give it out without having a side door to get money in.
Yeah, but they need to sell a few cannolis to pay the bills. I totally, totally get it.
I went into Micro Center, and there was a few machines. There was a few Dells and a few Lenovo's and stuff like pre-installed with Ubuntu on them, and they were competitively priced with the Windows machines.
I think Ubuntu today has become about as close to a all-day or like a modern name like Mac OS or Windows. As more and more people get involved with Linux space, either buying a Chromebook or somebody mentions Ubuntu or Linux Mint or something like that, people try it and realize, what, this runs faster. Updates, don't have to break my system or potentially break my system. I don't have to spend a lot of money for a machine, generally speaking, But I think as more and more people are stuck at home, like me, or close to stuck at home most of the time, I think they're going to start to realize that there are affordable choices out there, especially, if they're not working now or whatever. As more and more people either, work from home or doing video conferencing at home. Maybe they have an older machine and they don't want to buy something new, so they'll download either Ubuntu or something lighter. There are choices out there, and I think Ubuntu or even Linux maybe is becoming more and more a household word because of the commercials for the Chromebook and Linux tubers and word of mouth and family members trying something on a USB stick, and then realizing, hey, this thing is really not necessarily for geeks. Now, that's not necessarily true for all of Linux. I wouldn't give a Gentoo stick or from scratch, Linux from scratch stick to someone and say, here, mom, try this. It just ain't gonna happen. Should probably have.
Gentoo
I
stick
think
roll,
it's
like a
getting
Ubuntu.
I think it's getting
Right.
a lot more exposure than it used to. You hear like the things
Yeah.
you just mentioned. Even as somebody that's not into actually looking for Linux, they may type something in their YouTube search for Windows, and it may give a suggested box on the side for something to do in Linux. And that happens to me all the
well,
time.
We'll get to Steve here in a second, but I bet if I went to one of my family members or a friend or whoever, never tried Linux, maybe heard of it, was always Windows or Mac, and I said, look, try this. I bet you they would be stunned at the quality of it, at the speed of it, and they would say, wait a minute, you can do this yourself, and how much does this cost? Well, the ThinkPad was $200. It's a free OS, and it's good for 5 years. I think they would be stunned if they didn't know the whole story and say, yeah, no, there's no strings attached. If you want to donate to the community, to the system, that's fine. But yeah, except for the hardware, and you can buy a refurbished, ThinkPad for $200, sometimes less. That's perfectly fine. Install Ubuntu or something lighter if you want, and it's going to work. I know Ubuntu is 5 years. I think the offshoots are like 3 years support, if I'm not mistaken. But still, you can just reinstall the next one or install the next one that comes out, assuming that you don't trash your machine. But I think a lot of people, or at least some people, are going to start to realize now that they're home. And I read somewhere, heard said that YouTube viewership has shot really through the roof. People stuck at home and need an escape. So, Steve, what do you use? It's still Peppermint, right?
Yeah, I mean, my beloved Peppermint is based on Ubuntu. I installed 2004 on my testing laptop. And the last 2 days, I've actually just used that, getting used to GNOME. At first, I didn't really like GNOME a while back. But as I'm using it, I mean, this 2004 is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
I've got to get used to the extensions. I've finally got a few that I want and I'm using. I'm testing out and using nothing but snaps. The only problem I see so far is when I first boot up the system, and on my laptop, it's not real old. It's got 8 gigs of memory. It's got 4 cores. It's an i5. It takes a little bit to boot up, but snaps take a while the first time. But once the snap is opened up, boom. And RAM usage, we all are all hooked up on RAM still these days. But at rest, it was like 1.2 gigabytes, which is about half a gigabyte down from what it used to be at cold boot. And I'm actually enjoying it. I mean, this iteration, just keep rolling. And I know Ubuntu gets a lot of hits because they're the big guy, but yet, how many of these other distributions are based on it because it is such a solid base?
Well, I know that the GNOME desktop isn't exactly everyone's first desktop choice. Admittedly, it's not mine. It's just not, it's getting better. It's getting faster, but it's not quite there yet. That's why I use Mate, as my main system, Ubuntu Mate. I have Linux Mint Mate. I also like Cinnamon. But once again, it all started with the birth of Ubuntu back in 04. It started with an idea, with the vision, and here we are again. Here we literally are as friends talking about this because of Mark Shuttleworth. right?
And if you download Ubuntu and you don't like the GNOME desktop, there's also a bunch of other desktop flavors you can pick from to find your palette.
You can install different desktop environments, and once to be careful because now they start to look and act kind of funky and weird. But it can be done. You
I
know,
mean, you got the Ubuntu, Mate, all those is what I was talking about.
well, that too. Yeah, I think
Those are official.
I think for the newbie, I think you're better off if you download and install Ubuntu, or it wasn't fast as long as you wanted it, or you just didn't like it, and that's fair. Go on to Ubuntu approved official like Ubuntu, Lubuntu, even the ones that aren't official. Like what was the last one I tested? Voyager, Linux system based out of France. It looks pretty sharp.
Yeah, it is. It is very well themed. Maybe a little bit over themed in certain areas in that, but I love the way they thought out the little panels on the side that run with script. I like a couple of auto settings that they have.
It was a conky there for the time.
The conkies are unbelievable that you got in there.
It was right like DT. It was right on the edge of bloat, except it's not. It's just had enough on the edge of bloat. It's like I'm on the edge, but it wasn't bloated to. I got to delete this, delete that. It looked again. It's just a choice, and it's based off it's based off of Ubuntu XFCE, but it looked different to the point where there's a lot in there. But it wasn't a lot to turn me off. I mean, I couldn't see. Look, if that was 32-bit, I would put that in my ThinkPad. But my ThinkPad is 32-bit only, so I can't install it. But that looked really sharp because it was different enough and loaded enough, but not enough pointed to say, "Oh man, this is like a DT distro. It's too bloated." But no, it looks sharp, Steve. It's like you said. And hats off again to the other developers, from France, Vive la France. Again. If it wasn't for Ubuntu, would a Voyager Linux exist? Would a Ubuntu, would Ubuntu Mate, Linux Mint, would we even be here talking about this as friends? I'm not so sure.
Not at all.
So
RAM I'm using, I think it's 1.8 right now on the H-top.
That's not bad. And this is on your Ubuntu. That's not bad.
That's what I'm using. 1.84.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. And I bet you if this was Windows, it would probably be double.
And I'm on a live stream with you guys, and I've got the pop up, the pop chat up, and everybody here talking with you.
Right.
And again, it depends on what kind of hardware you have in there. So, but again, I'm very impressed with it, and I'm back on it, man. So, love it.
Vince, how long did you use Ubuntu based until you decided to go with Arch based?
Well, I was on Linux Mint for about a year. And that was my first. Well, I'd initially tried Ubuntu way back in the 9.04 days I think it was because of Compiz.
Okay.
Wanted to show off the wobbly Windows to my friends, and I was dual booting that with Windows. I guess it was Vista or 7. I can't remember.
Vista, okay.
Yeah, but then that laptop died, so I bought a new machine, went back to Windows, and then about 2 years ago, was looking for a way to have a portable system, and did a bit of a search, found guys like Switch to Linux, and he showed me how to get a Linux Mint system installed on USB, and so that's where I jumped in, and as you guys know, the rest is history. I then jumped from Linux Mint straight into Arch, which was a great experience, but very good learning experience as well. I would say one thing with Ubuntu, and you guys touched on it, and that is that there are so many distros that depend on Ubuntu and the resources that it provides, the packages that are built by Ubuntu, the servers, the repositories that Ubuntu provides, and that is no small thing. If Ubuntu was to just disappear one day, all these other distros would exist, or they would need a lot of work to get going again.
Well, because their base, their core, their
That's
foundation is the Ubuntu team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they have their own customizations for the desktop or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. So if you count, I mean, I know Ubuntu already has a huge install base, but really, if you're counting the install base, all distros that are based on Ubuntu, I would hazard a guess it'd be like 90% of all distros that are installed out there.
Like I said, I read somewhere there's up to 25 million Ubuntu users or Ubuntu base. That's a lot. I can't verify it either way. I mean, I'm sure it's in the millions by now, But when you search the web for Linux, there's always some talk or mention, it could be good or bad, of Ubuntu. There just is. And there's always that excitement. The new Ubuntu is out, or the new Ubuntus are out,
Or even when you search for something to help, for some help guide or some problem you're having, chances are the first top results that you're going to get are based on Ubuntu. So they're people who written forum posts trying to solve these problems in Ubuntu. And if that's any indication of how many people are using it, then it must be quite a huge number.
Well, a lot of distributions have come and gone. For whatever reason, maybe they weren't good enough, or not enough resources, or maybe they weren't good enough. But Ubuntu, for one, I think Mark Shuttleworth did an interview. They are profitable. This is a company that is profitable. They will continue to be profitable. I mean, they do more than just Ubuntu, But again, this is not a big multi-gazillion-dollar company like Microsoft or Apple or Amazon. It started with the dream of his, Mark Shuttleworth, and he's to be commended because, look, he knew back in 2004 Linux in general had potential. I tried Ubuntu 2006, and to be fair, at the time, it really wasn't ready for the masses yet. But even back then, as an XP user, I knew it had potential. I liked what I saw, but the pieces didn't fit. And it really wasn't until years later when the rest of the Ubuntus came out, and I'm thinking, man, there must be something to this Ubuntu, this canonical family, And now here they are with 2004, and it's in my backup desktop. I wish it was a little bit faster, but that's just the way the GNOME desktop is. It is getting more polished. It seems like a little bit faster in each release. It looks different. Yes, it feels different, but not so bad to where a Windows user can say, where do I go with this? They can figure it out. It's not that hard to use, and it's good to go. You do the updates. You don't have to do multiple reboots as in Windows. You don't have to worry if the updates may or may not trash a piece of the system. I still thinking of my son's Dell. He did an update and he had no sound. I literally, to save time, I had to reinstall the entire freaking system just to solve a sound issue. That is unacceptable. Now I know no stiffs and spurs, but that should not happen. Not
you literally had a flip outfit because of it, and I don't blame you.
Well, he used it for school. I'm like, okay, Michael, let me.
I don't blame you.
I said, don't worry about it. I'll fix it. So I reinstalled the driver. No, I installed a driver from Dell. I'm not blaming Dell. I did a system restore. Then what the heck? This shouldn't be that hard. And finally I thought, look, it'll just be faster. Now, luckily he had his documents backed up on the cloud and on the USB stick for school. But it shouldn't be that. Now, if it's something he did by accident, he messed it up, okay. But no. And it's like, no, this is unacceptable. But the problem's for some, not for everybody. I understand it's a hit and miss, miss with Windows 10. But as a whole, with Windows, what I see and hear, a lot of people are ticked off. To me, that is unacceptable. This is not like if it was Ubuntu with limited resources or Linux or some, but it's not. The Windows has a gazillion more resources and manpower and money, and they're just letting this happen. To me, that's unacceptable. That's why I use Windows maybe 10% of the time, and mainly in my Linux and my Ubuntu or Ubuntu Mate, because it's faster in general, and I trust it more. It's that simple. Now maybe, 15 years ago I couldn't say that, but these systems in general for Linux are getting more tested, more polished, and very rarely, especially with an LTS system supported multiple years, are you going to have an update destroy something in your system? It's possible. I haven't seen it in 4 years. Now, if you test something that's an alpha or beta, well, there's going to be bugs. But something that is finalized, I don't see it, guys. Not running Ubuntu. I've tested a bunch of Ubuntu systems for the last 2 weeks. Granted, just a quick, pop it in a USB, and they look great and they feel great.
And you were doing a lot of live USB, weren't you?
Yeah, just a quick test, And I'm sure if people who did full installs, if the systems were being trashed on install, I'm sure they would say something. I'm not seeing that. Now, it's possible they may install it, don't like it, it's too plain, or it wasn't for me, or I couldn't get this to work or that to work. That's fine. But they're not saying I install it, I'm running some updates, and my system got trashed. I'm not seeing that at all, period. That says a lot, considering going back from 2004 to where we are now, So again, Mark Shuttleworth, Alan Pope, Martin Wimpress, and the rest of the team at Canonical. Salute.
Let me also
should have
bring
a
up
bottle of wine, but it's over there.
Let me bring up another fact, too, you won't find with very many other operating systems. Alan Pope and Martin Wimpress are not hard to find. They're on Telegram all the time or some other media platform.
Yeah.
And if you need to ask them a question, they'll be very happy to answer it for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get that from Windows or Mac or anything like that.
Yeah, they're very classy gentlemen.
Yeah, I've
Yes,
spoken
they
to
are.
them a few times. I spoke to Alan about a year ago. He was talking about, I think he's a Snap maintainer or something like that. And no, he explained why they went to the GNOME desktop and why they do snaps. Now, once you hear it from the horse's mouth, there's a saying, then you start to realize it does make sense. Not everyone has to agree with it, but it does make sense why they went that way. I wish they would have went to the Mate desktop, but we already have Ubuntu Mate, so I get why they didn't do that, But once he explained it, very nice, and what they do. As a Windows user, I'm thinking, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Now, I know there's controversy. Well, what about the snap packages versus non-snaps? If it works, use what? And I know there's been some controversy. Well, I don't use Ubuntu because it doesn't respect my privacy. Really?
Now in my
The inception of the web, how much data collection has there been around the world? But no, it's all Ubuntu's fault. Okay.
In my testing, you can do whatever you want. I mean, when I type app install, let's say VLC, I get the regular repository one. And if I want to just, let's say, install OBS and I want to snap install OBS, I get the snap. And you can choose whatever you want. I think in order to get it to do it, software sources, canonical partners, I think you got to check that box to get the command line to give you what you want.
I have a Snap OBS Studio and a non-Snap package. And I think because I tried the non-Snap and it wasn't booting or too long or it wasn't right, the Snap package, there was no issue.
And you can also install GDebi right from the command line, and it'll open your deb packages for you.
There you go.
What I found interesting with the snaps is when you look at Nautilus, snaps has its own file, and all the snaps you install are now are easy to find.
Right. I think that they take up more space if I'm not mistaken, but there's no missing dependency or it's missing this. It's all there.
Yeah.
So either it works on the first install or it doesn't work. With non-snaps in the past, I installed it. Oh, it's missing this. And now I got to go on a fishing expedition. It's like, come on. But with snaps, either it works the first time or it doesn't,
Yeah. The problem I semi have with snaps, say like using GIMP, and I do a lot of the add-ons or the extensions in that in GIMP. You can't always get them to work. I've had a difficult time trying to get them to work in snaps, like Gimmick, the add-on for GIMP. Flatpak, yes. Flatpak, you download a lot of extra tools in that, shows up in the Flatpak. Snaps does not. I don't know, what that issue is, but like OBS, I like using NDI in the deb package one, but I haven't been able to get the NDI, the snaps to pick up the NDI.
Yeah. I don't mind having, like I said, both either snap or non-snap. Now, probably I should check, but probably both versions of OBS work by now with all the updates. I should probably uninstall the Snap if I don't need it to save space. But it's nice again. And again, the snaps, thanks to wasn't the Ubuntu team first developed these snaps? Or one of the first companies to bring out a distribution agnostic package. Thanks to them, they could call it Snap. So again, that's innovation. That's the mark of a team that's thinking about the future. How can we make Linux easier for the masses? Snappack, I guess Flatpaks work the same way. App Image. I used the Kdenlive version of the app image. Last time I checked, there was no Snap. Maybe that's changed. I don't know. But again, having something that works across different distributions, and it either works the first time or it doesn't with the Snap, right? It's not something that she missed to install, But deb packages, even now, like I'll install a deb. Oh, this can't work without this. You need to install that. Well, I'm not going to go there. Either give me the Snap or don't snap to it.
Yeah, Derek says App Image existed before Snaps, which existed before Flatpaks.
Great. So the App Image, Derek, is the same thing. It's a self-contained piece of software, right?
Yeah, to add some fuel to the Snap fire, I use Debian, and all of a sudden my app images stopped working.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they updated the Electron thing that makes it work to 5.0, and the current, Debian doesn't update their kernels. So I actually had to go do some reading and modify a switch in the kernel to allow it to sandbox. The problem is the new Electron app wouldn't sandbox the app images.
I just had 2 Windows users go, no problem. No problem. Here, there's some wine there. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's all right. Drink the wine. It's all
but I can guarantee you this problem's already been addressed in Ubuntu.
Okay. All right.
But there is another advantage I see in Snaps and all these universal packages as well, and that's on the developer side. So what's the biggest complaint that a lot of us have, right? That I can't get this package on this distro or that package on this distro. But what Snaps, the way I understand it, I'm not a developer. I can't develop a piece of paper. But what I understand is that universal packages makes it a whole lot easier for the developer to just package whatever application they have just once and have it run everywhere.
Right.
And that frees up their time to either make improvements or make more packages, which is great.
Right. You're not maintaining a piece of software that's different for Arch-based, or it's just one Snap package.
Right.
It's that suitcase. So either all your clothes are in that suitcase to travel, in this case software, or they're not there and they gotta work. But that's how I see a package like that or an app.
I see it as a small price to pay for.
Right. It takes up more space, I've noticed, but I don't care if it works.
Yeah, and getting more software available every week.
Right. And they're adding more and more, it seems, each day or each month to the website. But that's great. Again, that is a Linux standard. 10 years ago, like if I would have said Linux standard, which standard? Well, it's starting to change. Chromebooks are a Linux standard based off of Chrome OS. Packages like Snaps and Flatpaks, Ubuntu is argued is a quality standard. It may not be your favorite distribution, but it's hard to argue what they've accomplished. I'm just waiting for the day where I can walk my Walmart or Office Max and see an Ubuntu machine for about $400. I'm like, finally, we've arrived. It's here, but not yet.
What happened to Ben?
He's Ben.
Yeah, Ben, God bless you, man. But you just leave. You just say, fracking, I'm out of
I
here.
tried to say hello. The guy's like, he's going.
He has a habit of doing that for as long as I've known him.
Well, it seems like when he jumps, he's always installing something or doing something. He's a busy young man, which is fantastic. He knows more about Linux than I do. Between Gentoo and Arch and Frypan Linux and all that, it's great. But no,
Frypan Linux.
But he just
Wham.
he just jumped off. But DT, by the way, if you want to, I know you tried Ubuntu. It didn't really like it for valid reasons. So if you want to join the stream, just let me. I'll send you the link and the password. Just to get a different perspective. I know you still use Archbase, right, DT? If I'm not mistaken. I have to give DT a lot of credit. One night he tried the unstable branch of something live. I'm like, oh God, here we go. And DT knows what happened. He just kept right on going, and everything froze. But he says, "I'm assuming you guys can see. I'll just keep right on talking." Anyway, pick one of the universal formats. Make that the one package. DT. Okay. All right. Well, we're almost there, right? Antics. Rose the Dolphins in the house. Welcome. I tried Antics once. That thing is super fast.
Well,
I remember that stream. I think that was the one where Dolphin was actually in the chat, and he was telling DT, "No, don't do it, don't do it." He went ahead and did it.
Speaking of Dolphin, Mr. Oracle, definitely love Antics. And again, it was the 19.1 series. Can't get the clock to set right. Reverts back, brother. 17.4, no problem. It's the 19 series. Ain't happening. MX, no problem. Back to Ubuntu. So, got any suggestions? I'd appreciate it. Thanks.
I don't know what the problem is, but yeah.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I've done everything the same way I've done with all the other systems, and that's the only version that just will not keep the timestamp right. And,
so DT says you use Ubuntu for your servers. Okay, yeah, they that's fine. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I do love Antics. I do Antics and MX. But
like I said, I tried it once. I just remember it was super. I don't think it's for newbies, but man, it was super fast. Super fast. Yeah. Yeah. So hello.
Hi.
Oh, she brought me dinner.
Oh, hey, darling.
That's Steve.
What you eating?
Pizza.
I actually had pizza today. I had pizza from Domino's.
I made my son a pizza tonight.
Oh, okay. Welcome to Pizza OS today.
No,
Here's your keys.
how's it go?
Here's your keys.
There's some type of food that's always got to come up on the stream.
All right. Brought to you by Pizza
I was
OS.
talking. Okay. Okay.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, sweetie. Okay. Yeah. What did DT call the show? Mate and meatballs. That's what it comes down to, But we always go to. I just had a little bit of Coke. My wine's over there. I'm too lazy to go grab the wine, but it's over there sitting on the floor in a bag.
Falling to you.
And I give her credit. She thinks the world of all my Linux friends.
Okay.
I think tomorrow I'm going to order an Uncle Guido's pizza.
Uncle Guido. Right.
There's a such thing. We have one here.
Oh, I'm sure.
Nice.
It's not called Uncle Guido's, it's called Guido's.
Okay. All right.
It's just me, or does that sound like a dangerous pizza?
Well, we have the D&Ds out here in the Heights also, which is Damiani's.
If we have any new people in the chat, by the way, I forgot to say it earlier. Please do say hi. Even if you know nothing about Linux, most of us are all faking it, and we don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
That's still better than sorry.
I still use Ubuntu on CDs.
Yeah,
that's how much old-fashioned we are. But if there's somebody new who wants to say hello, you never had a chance, please do. If you have a question. So, and we'll try to answer it.
But with getting back to Ubuntu too, I like the you can hook up to your different services or social medias, your Gmail, your Google account, your Facebook, and all the things that people love to hate.
Mm-hmm.
But it's right there, and it's easy, and you get your your messages in that. I just sat down and I said, I'm just going to use this as it's supposed to be. I've done a few tricks to, put on the dark theme. But I had been noticing like the calendar would still stay white, even though I got the dark theme going, to finally figure out that in tweaks, there's a shell button. Ignorant there, and clicked it, and Yaru, and now my calendar, my weather, and all that is dark instead of white. So you got to change a couple of settings. One setting doesn't change all, say like in Ubuntu or maybe Mate or that.
Okay.
Yeah, GNOME's kind of weird with the settings.
If you don't mind, backtrack there, Steve. You were saying about the weather app that's on the calendar. I
Mhm.
know. Now, how are you saying to get to dark? Because everything else is dark on mine. You were saying, I'm sorry, I missed that part.
No, well, I had changed it to the Yarrow dark theme, right?
Yeah, I have
So,
that.
but I would notice I would bring up the calendar, or once I finally installed the weather extension, that would come up a bright, plain white background, right? Didn't
Right.
go with, and I couldn't figure out how to change it. So once you have, I believe it tweaks installed, then you can go in and you can do all your change settings, and one of them says shell. And once I changed that to Yaru Dark or Yaru, then the calendar and the weather app all turn dark.
The tweak tool really is pretty much mandatory when you use Ubuntu, especially someone who wants a newbie who wants to, tweak it more and not use terminal commands, just wants to click and go. It should be mandatory, to make it a little more friendly, a little bit more usable, as it were. And I know once you install a new version, the extensions, it takes time to catch up to the new version, so they install and work. But that's okay, But the core system itself. Let me ask you guys here in the chat: Has anybody ever had a problem with an unfriendly Ubuntu forum? I have not.
No, I never have, and I'm really general.
No, I can't say.
To tell you the truth, there's enough Ubuntu information out there where it's very rare that you have to go into a forum and post a question.
Mm-hmm. I haven't spent too much time in the regular Ubuntu forum. Sorry, Dan.
Go ahead.
But they seem curt. I'll be polite, and I'll just say they're curt in their postings. Especially after being used to how we are in the Peppermint forum and that.
Yeah, I think I posted one or two things in the Ubuntu Mate forum for something. I forget what it was for. It was years ago, and I got some replies, very friendly. I think somebody said, "Yeah, I had the same problem," or something, but I haven't had to run into issues when they say unfriendly Linux forums with Ubuntu and Ubuntu Mate, or even Linux Mint. Even just reading, even if I don't post, just read. I'm not seeing anything to suggest, boy, they're mean, or I just haven't seen it. I won't say it's not there, but I just haven't seen that. Again,
I think Steve's just being oversensitive.
Yeah, well,
I read into things. I'm sorry.
Right, but yeah, again, hats off to the Ubuntu team. Looking forward to what surprise they have in store in the future. But I trust Ubuntu more than I trust Windows 10.
Ditto.
Never thought I would say that. I really couldn't say that with Windows 7 because Windows 7 just worked. There were no surprises. Updates didn't destroy anything. But now with Windows 10, it's like, there's a Windows 10 update. I just don't see that. With Ubuntu, it's not like, oh, how many updates? 347. That's fine. That's nothing. Go ahead, Ubuntu. Yeah, And maybe I got to reboot once, maybe, With Windows, we have to reboot. Oh, again. Okay, let me go paint the house first, and then you'll be done, right? Gee, no, seriously, right? You don't know how long it's going to take for an updates to install with Windows. You just don't know. With Ubuntu, when you reboot, if you reboot once and you're usually done, sometimes I have to do it again, but that's 1 out of 100. With Windows, when it's doing an install and it says please reboot or please update and reboot, I don't know if that's only 1 time or 5 times, right? You just don't know. That's and then it trashes something. Well, thank you for letting me wait just to trash the system or trash something, But
no, once in a while you got to reboot. It depends on the update. When you update it with Linux, but it's your call. It's your call to do it.
Well, I had to fix a lady's. She's got a Lenovo Yoga. I don't know where that name comes from, Yogi. Yabba dabba do. It's Yogi Bear. No, but
Is that what they call it now?
that's what they call. No, right? Isn't it called like a Lenovo Yoga?
Oh, no, I was thinking something else, but forget about it.
Yeah. Okay. Ba-ba-ba-ba-boo. So she goes, I need help. It did an update, and no, actually, no. She says, I know what I turned it on one morning, and my start menu changed. It was like it all, and I realized it was after an update. So I went to her house. She was very nice. Well, first I did a system restart and something. And wait a minute. Anyway, I was able to fix. It wasn't anything physically broken. It just the update changed the how the thing looked. Basically, it went into tablet mode. There's like a switch you can switch off and on tablet mode, and it disabled her Google Chrome shortcut. Web browser. Gee, I'm sure that was just a mistake, right? Edge browser, But things like that, it shouldn't happen. On her Yoga, I think it's called Yoga, Nova Yoga. Don't ask me where the name came from. Anyway, but what was the point? Oh yeah, updates trash my system. No matter what it's called, Yogi or Yoga or Boo Boo and all that, But hats off again to Ubuntu. So thank you, all the team. And that's coming from a window. You have impressed a Windows user. I never thought I would say, but I can't trust Windows anymore. And there you go.
I'm totally impressed.
Totally. I know we had a lot of people here in the chat. I am looking at your comments. Thank you, everybody here in the chat. It's great to see you back here. Download updates 80% complete. Do not turn off your computer. That's Windows, right?
Yeah.
It's a Yoga because you use it in tablet mode. Ah, okay. I'm not sure why they still call it that, but okay.
65% done. I can't even deal with Windows. That or
Actually, what that percentage means is how much Motrim can you take? Is 65, for it to do the update till you're done.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, in my process of updating my wife's laptop, I honestly, in the last year and a half, have not had any issues, and it's actually the updates have been really quick. And I'm actually interested to see their version of their 2004 Windows 10 update coming out.
Okay.
I think that would be a featured update, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
They're
removing live tiles. They're changing the file manager around, I believe.
There are 19.
You can hold those out for almost like 6 months.
No, I update it because I said every time, anytime, the next time an update screws up this laptop, she's getting Linux on it.
Oh, you want to purposely go down the drain.
Yeah. And it's like,
please crash. Please, Windows, please do your job and crash the start menu, please.
It flips the lid at me.
What are they on now, Dan? What is it that they're on? Or Steven? What are they on right now? They're on what? 19 what? With Windows on their software.
I mean, some of it's, I think it was a 1908. I think it's still past that now, but
something like that, yeah.
But it looks like they are actually taking.
They're taking lessons from Linux, is what they're doing. That's what they're doing.
Nice features, friendlier features are nice, but what's the point of doing a nice feature and then an update just negates what you did?
Well, most of the gamers I know that have to use Windows because they buy those Windows proprietary games, they tell me on the featured updates, they do not take them right away. They sit on them for 4 months and then read online what other people are experiencing with them before they install them. And there is a setting in there to hold the feature updates.
Yes, that's what I did. They keep saying, would you like to download this feature update? No, not really interested.
I like my Windows the way they are.
Next year, it'll still be there. I'm fine. Not in the rush, Windows. Thank you. 2 years from now, I'm still good. It's, no problem. 5 years from now, Windows. Oh, yeah, Windows. Gee, I forgot all about it, I agree. Dean Canonical, very lucky to have Martin Wimpress. The guy knows what quality is about. Yes, he does. Sean only uses a Chromebook now with Linux apps, and you get by fine. Well, that's still experimental. That's awesome. Yeah, I tried it in mine. They're okay, but hey, if it works, why not? All of your Windows updates are on hold. Okay, is that on purpose, or did you just say to stop? Actually, no. Once it starts, you can't really stop, can you? Yeah, unless you turn the machine off. So then it stopped.
You're muted,
They
Steve.
fixed your mic. I think you're muted. Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
If he's holding his updates, are you not letting security ones through, Will? That's not smart.
Well, the feature updates, I just don't install. I'm going to wait months till after, so by the time feature update 1909 comes out, I'm going to install 1903 because I figure all the bugs are worked out of it, so.
Just go for it. It's not my laptop.
Well, there's something you could do, Steve. As soon as the next update comes around, just go and unplug it, turn the thing off.
I mean, if I have to help somebody with it, I can do it. But my preference, I'm sorry, I'm just see ya.
I don't.
I'm 100% Linux. I'm sorry. I'm not. Again, I'm not as technical as everybody else is.
I don't.
But I'm 100% Linux. I don't have a Windows machine.
I'll keep it as a backup. I'm not sure what the backup's for as Windows 10 is, but I don't have to use it.
My backups are other computers.
It used to be, I would do a lot of stuff in Windows, but nowadays I'm thinking, what do I really? Okay, I have to hook up my Microsoft Zune. I know it's outdated in my Windows to transfer music, but I don't even do that because my phone, I have 128 gigabyte. My phone plus a 32 gigabyte, card. So I don't even have to use my Zune. I still have the iPad Mini that I have to hook up to Windows to, download some music or something. I just cannot hook it up to Ubuntu. It will not work, but that's okay. I have my Amazon Kindle Fire tablet that works both in Windows and in Linux, and that's great, but really now with my phone, I don't even use that tablet a lot, but yeah, I'm trying to think, what do I really, really have to use Windows for? Okay, so the new Skype I do because it has the virtual backgrounds, which is cool. That only works in the Windows version. Okay, so that's one reason I have to use Windows if I want that cool feature,
It looks like you're having a little good time there.
Well, I think next time I use Skype in Windows, I'm going to have the Ubuntu logo and say, "Take that, Windows." No, but in the background, or no, I'll have a logo that says "Windows updating, please stand by," or something like that. Please stand by. Please don't reboot.
A blue screen of death.
Yeah, I have that little screen, right? Really,
Just the spinning circle.
I'll have the spinning thing, or it says
That'll trigger a lot of people.
updates now, update, and then all right, this will be finalized in 2032 or something like that. But yeah, for the new Skype with the virtual background, I have to use Windows. That feature does not exist in the Linux version of Skype, but that's not Ubuntu's fault. That's just the way it was designed.
Yeah, we can still talk to you on Skype using Linux, so that happens.
Well, look, I'll give the team Microsoft. I'll give credit where credit is due. Skype appears to be both stable in both Linux, and I give them credit. We used it that one night, and you guys looked awesome.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, it looked really good. So I give credit. Look, they got Windows 7 right. Of course, now it's gone. They got the Xbox right. They got gaming right. They got the Halo game series right. So they can do great things. But for Windows 10, it's like they had a great idea, and then it's like updates. Yeah, who cares? Here's your updates. Yeah, go ahead. So, bro, yeah, all right. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, they totally screwed it up back with Windows 7. I was a Windows guy too before I came on to Linux. When they screwed up Windows 7 with everything, it just kept looping and looping and looping and looping. Like,
I didn't have issues in Windows 7, but Windows 10, again, you just can't trust the updates.
No, that's what started me with Linux. And then again, that was back in 2014. And of course, I'm still a noob, proud of it. But I am 100% Linux. So
100% certified.
100% Linux.
I am.
Oh, ditto, man. Ditto. Love it.
I'm almost there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm
one day I
probably
will.
Yeah, I got 2% of stuff that I still need Windows for.
Well, I'm not a gamer, so maybe
Yeah.
that's one of
No,
might be-
I have proprietary software,
Mm.
but the Windows is in a virtual machine that's attached to the
Okay.
Linux.
Okay.
And it's Windows 7, so it's disconnected from the Ethernet too.
That'll work. Yeah. What's bad is updating Windows while dual booting with Linux, and the Linux is the primary on Grub. Yeah. Unless you have two separate hard drives or drives and you can separate it, but then you got to boot into the BIOS each time to go to which system. Yeah. That can be a potential problem there, Larry. Yes. But it still should work unless there's a
Yeah,
problem.
you should be able to get around it. If Windows stuffs up your grub, you should be able to reinstall it.
Mhm.
Look for instructions for that. I've got an interesting story I got to tell you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my daughter, she's 7, and earlier today, as I was making lunch, I got her to update my laptop, which is why I don't have it at the moment. It runs running Ubuntu because I get my kids to do the updates because I bothered myself. But I taught them how to do updates via the terminal. And anyway, so she did that, and I was busy making lunch, and by the time I'd gotten back to her, she'd managed to get SuperTux card installed as well, which wasn't on there initially.
Wow.
And the thing is, people talk about how GNOME might be a bit hard for a new user to come to grips with, and this I'm pretty sure this is the first time she'd used GNOME. I know that she does most of her schoolwork on Windows, and I know that I've given her XFCE and Mate before, both the Ubuntu flavors. But I'm pretty sure this is the first time she'd used GNOME, and she managed to figure it out and get into the software center and install SuperTuxCut. And that's why I don't have a laptop at the moment, because she's there with her sister playing.
Nice. Well, look,
SuperTuxCut.
if you say kids in the game, I'll make this install, Dad. I'm going to find out, No, but
So
well,
to someone who doesn't know a lot about computers, I think
Yeah.
picking up a different desktop environment shouldn't it takes a little bit of getting used to, but as long as the controls are vaguely where you expect them to be,
Right.
then I don't see a big problem in people.
it comes down. Well, number one, it comes down to
I
the
agree,
table,
100%,
but then it comes down to navigation. How far do I got, or where do I got to go? I totally agree. It's not that hard, really. It's just a matter of getting used to it. And once you do it on repeat over and over, then it becomes second nature.
Like other than maybe changing the wallpaper, I can't really expect them to be wanting to do whole lot of theming or anything like that.
Mhm.
It's just that we're so used to it. We have particular preferences. Oh, this is going to be all dark. It's going to be all light, or this panel's going to match the icon here and whatever.
Well,
I'm not
speaking
that.
of children and my wife. No,
Okay, I think I'm out of here. No, go ahead.
Hey, go get your wine right now there. Kyle.
Frying pan.
More than what sometimes she, lets on and that. But she's been, I've got her. She's learned Zoom, and she
I got to
actually
grab some wine. I'll be right back. You guys are making me
actually did a 3-hour Zoom last night on her from her library, the book club that she runs once a month. And I actually had to run back to my store last night, and I came back and she was still on. And I go, "Hello, Stephen."
It's pretty awesome what it does. It's just like you guys talk about Windows. I can't even stand the Windows desktop environment. I don't even want to look at it.
Oh, you talk about things being broken and not matching. The themes across Windows are horrible.
They are.
New iteration is supposed to be better, but you got some pop-ups that are from old versions, and they're not, the dark theme is not, we complain about, GTK 2 and 3 and QT and things not working right, but the theme across the board on Windows is absolutely pitiful. It is horrible.
Yes, it is. And I'm a dark theme guy, so
All right. Cheers.
Did you
Now
get the bottle?
I feel
You
like
get that-
I
get
should
that
have
bottle?
a nice juicy steak with wine, but this is sweet, Red. By the way, salute to all the doctors, nurses around the world who keep us healthy.
Ditto.
Salute.
Cheers. Oh.
Out of water.
And it's good that we're all here so that we can communicate with one another.
You know what?
Even-
I feel very blessed and lucky. My family, as far as I know, all of my friends, whether here on YouTube, they haven't gotten this thing. Of course, anything can happen, but it sucks to not work and be stuck at home more or less. But all things considered, I consider myself lucky. So, anyway, cheers again.
Yeah. Another thing about Ubuntu.
Mm-hmm.
Back to that.
I'm ready.
It's
all
picked
good.
up my
Yeah.
brother printer. It
So,
wow.
picked up the network my brother printer. I didn't have to, on Peppermint, I have to install. Now, maybe if it goes to, they finally moved to the 2004 base and that it might not, but it picked up my network brother printer. I
Nice.
didn't have to install a driver.
Nice.
Ran a test print, came right up. Food distribution.
not-
Warren has done that, and but it's
I'm
it's
impressed.
impressive.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with it, and I'm very happy to be on it. Sticking with it. And as a matter of fact, like Carmen has said in the past, why give yourself a headache? And again, I want to learn Arch. I want to learn a bunch of the other stuff in the terminal, more so than what I know already, or that I don't know actually. But without the headache, I mean, it's working, and for what I need for it to do, it just rocks, man.
In the
For what
beginning,
I-
for me, it was about curiosity. Oh, this is based on Arch or RPM or Debian. Well, let me see how this, and that's fine. It was an education, and I didn't mind. But after 10 years, I'm like, I'm done with that. I'm going to stick with Ubuntu.
Look, man,
Yeah, after a while, you just want to use the machine. You don't want to peel
Right.
underneath the
Right.
hood and start playing with the nuts and bolts.
Well, what happened was when I started doing more podcasts and live shows, I'm like, how am I going to have the time to do live shows if all I do is start experimenting with more distro hopping? I won't have the free, and I'll drive myself nuts. So, doing the live shows pretty much, let me stop because live shows, you want something stable and works. You don't want some to work or maybe not to work in the middle of a show. If I'm just doing a test on a distro by myself and it crashes, or if I break something, that's okay. But
no, trust me, I'm impressed with everybody that's so knowledgeable about this because you've all helped me and taught me a lot, and thanks to all of you, Steve and Derek, and just everybody from that all just and again, Carmine, hats off to you, brother.
thank you.
If it weren't for you, man, I know none of you. So, and
You're
again,
not alone. You're not alone. And thank you. 1,000 thanks. But I will tell you, I started the channel in 2010 as a hobby because I was just curious, I didn't know I had something till like a year down the line, maybe two, where I did a tutorial how to fix something in Ubuntu, how to do something. And the comment was, God bless you. This was exactly what I was looking for. And I'm like, wow, I actually helped somebody. That's
Well,
when I knew I had something,
I think that's one of the biggest reasons I'm. Again, my daughter has to use Apple because of school. Their software. For me,
Well, my son got to use Windows, and that's perfectly fine. As long as it works, I'm all cool with that.
they have to use it. And
Right.
But me personally was like, this was an eye opener. Pandora's box opened up for
Mhm.
all of this, and even for all the other years that I worked on the computers that I thought I knew what I was doing, didn't compare to what Linux has opened up to me.
Yeah.
All the schools should be using Linux. It's our tax dollars that are really getting worked over with this Windows Mac junk.
Well, it's conglomerate, it's corporate, so.
A lot of schools are using Mac, but then a lot of schools are using Chromebooks based off of Linux. So, it's I can't say it's completely, the tide hasn't really turned yet to all Linux, but look, I think I said 2 weeks ago, there's a shortage of Chromebooks or a potential shortage of the lower price Chromebooks because more and more people are stuck at home working from home, looking for a job, and they need a new computer. They don't want to spend $500. They'll spend $200 for a Chromebook. Why not?
And they're also doing the what's that? The Neverware software for the older laptops for the Chromium OS, which is basically another Chromebook.
And one nice thing about the Ubuntu community, is all the flirty girls in the house. Hello, Anna Rita. It's been a while.
Hello, Anna. Yes, hello, Anna.
Yes. Yeah. I bet she's got a nice snap package. No, but how are you, Anna Rita? It's been a while.
And again, Ben didn't come back on.
Did you get your wine toss?
Yeah. I left my glass, so I had to use a cup.
Why don't you
pour
just
it
get
in.
I'm disappointed. You're supposed to bring the bottle.
bring the exactly?
What, the whole
Exactly.
gallon? It's
Yeah.
actually full. Well, it was full, not
I
anymore.
want to show you his mad dog.
I'm afraid I might drop it, But no, I bought the last time. It wasn't the sweet. It was the more bitter, not bitter, but it wasn't as sweet as the sweet red. It was funny because I went into Kroger's in Ohio. Now, when you walk into the liquor spot, you need to show your ID, make sure you're from Ohio, because if you're West Virginia, they won't let you in because they have shut down their stores. But I walked in. I'm like, where's the? Oh, right, wine is not hard liquor. It was outside this room, and the cop says, "That's okay, man. Go ahead." So I got the wine. I didn't even need an ID. I was thinking of tequila and the harder stuff, but the wine was on this side. I'm like, oh shit, I have to go in there. But the officer was good. It's it's all good, man. Anyway, but I digress. Hello, Anthony McDonald. How are you? All right, so that's our discussion on Ubuntu and Ubuntu based. Let me toss in some news. I mentioned it before, some oddball news, but I caught this on was it Facebook or CNN? But there was a shortage of toilet paper, right? I don't know if there is now, but now I guess bidets may be selling. Well, here in the States, you can buy a portable bidet, a thing like just a sprayer itself. Hook it underneath your toilet seat. It just sits on there, nothing hard or anything. You hook up the water line to the existing line. There's like an adapter, nothing too complicated. Now, the company is called Tushy, and the website is called, I think it's called Get Tushy. It sounds like a movie. That's what it's called.
How's it called? Crocodile Dundee back in the day. What was that movie? Crocodile Dundee when he first went to New York.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
What the hell is this? Go push tush.
And but the tagline, the ad line for the website is a whole new way to poo. Aren't they clever? A hole, good. Okay, all right. Anyway, it's only like $100. I'm like, that's really not a bad price. I'm going, So yeah, it's called Tushy. This is not a sponsored video by Tushy or Get Tushy. I just saw the ad and it got my attention. So there you go.
But Anna, you got to rinse that towel off a couple of times.
And they even make like environmentally friendly towels or toilet paper or something. I forget what they're called, But for $100, maybe it's worth a shot, So, it's great because if you're having a hard day, you can't wait to go poo just to get a massage. I feel better now, So,
If I'm looking at the same website,
yeah,
and I think I am, called Tushy, Tushy.
yes,
there's a travel version of a bidet where it's just a bottle, a squeezy bottle.
yes, there is. Yeah. You
The travel version.
Yeah.
Just don't get that mixed up with your water bottle.
Yeah, really.
I mean,
Yes, Ubuntu users are a bit eccentric. In case you're wondering, Windows users, yeah, no, but this is real news, by the way. I'm not making this up. It is like, come on, Toss, now look it up. Get Tushy. It sounds like my ex-girlfriend. No, but anyway.
Gotta say, I need to laugh. Thank you, guys.
We all do, man. It's you watch enough news and what's going on, you start to go, So,
yeah. We'll make it though. We'll make it.
I think we will. Let me go here and see if I can pick up some more oddball news before we wrap it up tonight. Welcome everybody from the Switch to Linux stream. Good to have you here. If you haven't already, check out Switched to Linux. Let's see. And if you missed any of this, people watching in chat, you can replay this. I don't edit this once it goes live. So let's see if I can pick up any other oddball. It's going to be tough to top that Tushy one. Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. Oh, this is Florida. A barrel filled with 90 pounds of marijuana washes up in Florida. Somebody lost a package.
Someone's looking for a package.
Someone's looking for a package. Yeah, it goes both ways. Hey, Pedro, man, where's the freaking pack? I don't know, man. Drivers grabbing face masks from road cause highway traffic jam. Oh, my Lord. Police in California said traffic on a busy stretch of highway came to a halt when people get out of their vehicles to retrieve medical face masks littering the roadway. Wouldn't they be contaminated already if they're on the road? I don't. Okay. God. Whatever. Emu found wandering loose in Washington State Park. I guess they shot the commercial there for that, for that insurance commercial, Emu, right?
Liberty Mutual.
Yeah. A man takes 43 wet sponge hits to the face for a Guinness record. I guess he's all washed up.
I guess so. I mean, geez.
Yeah.
What people won't do to get in that book.
Yeah. Let's see here. A pregnant woman runs into Arizona road to rescue 6-foot snake. Ugh. Okay.
That's smart.
Not me.
That's smart.
I love nature, but I think I'll stop with the snakes. Thank you. Yes.
Especially out there.
Let's see here. Anything else? City seeking owner of donkey found wandering loose. There's a lot of jokes there, but I won't go there. Let's see. A London man attempting to clap for 24 hours straight. Look, London man, Ubuntu is good, but I don't think it's worth 24 hours. No, just kidding. Okay. A bear breaks into a pickup truck in search of food. Well, I guess when you're hungry. A 60-year-old woman gives birth to twins in Nigeria. Is that even possible? I guess it is possible. Wow. To twins.
Better her than me.
I guess she's unretired now.
Wow.
Wow. That's God bless. It's all I can say. Police chase escaped steer through Idaho City. I'm busy with these animals, man. Oh, because there's less humans now. The animals, let's go party. Hey, there's no people there,
It's because we're tearing down all the trees.
Yeah. Sheep take over a parking lot of closed McDonald's in Wales.
Oh, boy.
So that's where they get their hamburger. Oh, silly V. Yeah, there's a bunch of sheep just wandering around, whatever noise they make. Wow. In Wales, a flock of sheep descended on the McDonald's restaurant due to closure to the pandemic in Wales. Wow, that is funny. Well, they probably smelled the frozen patties, man. A bear A bear visits Connecticut Fire Department. Okay. Let's see here.
It wanted directions.
I guess so. And a kangaroo hops through empty streets of Australian City, Vince.
It's kind of thing like that going on.
Man, hang on, I got to pull this up.
I was trying to get some exercise. Leave me alone.
But about this was what city was? Yeah, it's there's one kangaroo this was in with South Australia. This was in the streets, vacant streets of Adelaide. I'm not sure where that's at, but okay. Cool. All right. Talk about distro hopping. No. you can hop all you want.
That's a good one.
Thank you. It's the wine. I'm all getting in the mood now. A little bit late, but okay.
Okay, that was good.
A Los Angeles skate park covered in sand to prevent gatherings. Clever. Police chase loose pig through neighborhood for 45 minutes. Oh, what an awful thing to call your spouse. Come on.
Oh God.
I'm glad I'm not married.
Ditto.
Somebody
If you
posted.
were, it would be for long.
I know. Somebody posted a joke on Facebook. No, don't say. Of course, you're not gaining weight during the quarantine. Keep your chin up. No, the other one. That was a good one. That was a good one. There's a whole bunch of these on Facebook, all these memes and stuff, because people got nothing better to do. So, anyway, I think I mentioned this. Bush Beer offering a year of free beer to couple with postponed wedding. I'm not sure if that sends a message, but that's what it is. Okay. And this one, I said this last week or 2 weeks ago. A wild leopard wanders into a hospital bathroom. I guess he had to take a whiz. Anyway.
Yeah. And the Bush beer, that's what I drink.
There you go.
Bush
Anyway.
Light.
The Switch says that's bad. Yes, that's one for Switch. Yes. So.
Hey, Switch.
But anyway, we'll stick on a few more minutes here in the chat, then we'll shut the chat down and we'll wrap it up for the night. And if you missed any of this, go ahead and replay the video. The live show is good to be back live again for tonight. Awesome.
Good to be with you all.
Always.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Gnostic says 3 kids broke into your car last night. Oh no, why? Did you leave the M&Ms in there? Oh.
No, he left his Snickers.
Oh, he left his Nikes in there. Okay. Got it. It's good to see you too, Keegan. Absolutely. Future slogan, get tushy. We leave the competition behind. That's one for Anthony, yes. Yep, I turn off the news sometimes too, Anna Rita. I mean, I'll catch a quick update. Sometimes in the morning I'll wake up, I'll say Alexa Daily News, and it tells me almost everything I need to know. If not, I'll browse through my phone, catch the updates, and go from there. And try not to get too overwhelmed by it all. St. Louis is rougher than most think. Oh my goodness. Okay, I've never been down there.
You ever worked to St. Louis?
Never been to St. Louis. No.
Yeah, because they're stuck drinking Bud.
What about?
It's a cool little city.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a cool little city. But like any city, you got your bad parts and you got
well, here we have the annual Dean Martin Festival because he was born here, but I believe that's been canceled. They just flat out said, no, we're not going to do it, which is probably the right call. And, they have the Martin impersonators come in, and they're actually pretty good. But they decided to shut it down this year, and it's probably not a bad idea,
Well, like I was telling you before, my daughter was telling you last time when we talked, that Lollapalooza, I think, is shut down now.
Yeah.
Steve, what, the next 2 years? Here in Chicago?
Is it 2 years? Okay.
It's 2 years.
Vince, have they opened up there now? You said they were going to start, what, Monday?
You talk about music festivals?
Mm-hmm.
No, the whole state in general, yeah.
Oh no, they're not opening up yet. They're just relaxing some of the restrictions. So,
Got it. Okay.
You can, I think as of yesterday, which was Friday for us.
Yeah.
You could start visiting other people at home. So, but they're limiting it to a maximum of 2 adults.
Okay.
Per visit. Schools are open, but not really. So everyone's still doing online learning for the first couple of weeks.
Right.
And then from a fortnight onwards, they're allocating kids to 1 day a week.
Mm-hmm.
So certain kids will go 1 day, and then they'll just divide the kids all up so that not everyone's at the same time.
Okay.
Well, just until this thing ends.
People around here are behaving like they just canceled Woodstock. Well, they have money invested in all kinds of shows and stuff. They don't know if they're going to get it back or if they're going to be able to go to a postponed show. No one's giving them any answers.
Look, I get it. It's hard. Look, if this had happened right before the winter season where people are stuck in their house anyway, but it's happening right before spring and summer, concerts. And look, I get it. It's hard. It just flat out sucks, but you have to put people's lives first. You just have to.
Exactly.
Nobody likes it. Nobody's going, yeah, it's I don't like it, but it is what it is. And all these medical, that one emergency doctor in New York committed suicide because she was just overwhelmed. You don't want that to happen again. It shouldn't happen, period. In this so-called superpower. So these states that are opening up and the scientists are saying you're not ready, but they're going to do it anyway. It's just wrong. But that's my opinion.
Well, since you brought that up about that doctor, I didn't even hear it because I have not been listening to the news at all because
that was hard to miss. Yeah, I felt.
I just distance myself from.
Oh, I don't blame you.
All this negativity.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, I don't.
I hear a couple clips here and there. That's enough for me. Well, we know what's happening. So
I don't blame you. Yeah, it can be overwhelming.
Until this garbage gets cleared up and we really start to open up a little bit.
Right.
Right. A little by little, then. Yeah. I'm so sick and tired of what's happening, and I'm with you and everybody else. I feel terrible for everybody in the world that's going through all this hell because we're all in it together, and it's follow the mandate, the precautions, and just be safe and
this is how you can tell when it's safe to leave the house. Okay,
so I don't even like going to the store, man.
I don't either.
For food, I have to, obviously.
Exactly. I have to do it.
My cousin, who can't drive anymore, he wanted to go to Lowe's. He says there was lice as hell. I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting either, But I think this is how you can tell if it's going to be safe. Tell me what you guys think. It'll be safe when the hospital says, yeah, it's okay for normal visitations. That's when you know it's safe. What do you guys think about that? When the hospital says normal visitations is fine, that's when you will know it's safe.
I would. I'd push it a month after that.
I would go as long as your general practitioner will sit there and say that you come to the office if you need to get checked out at your your doctor's office.
Because right now you're limited.
All you can do is call her. I mean, our doctor,
you're right.
She's awesome. But, it's like, if there's a problem, just call because if I get into the doctor's office, thank God we don't have to. Of course, my mom with her heart condition, we got to call them and she's up in Marinette Park. Well, the heart care center is in Marinette Park. Mm-hmm. And, I got to stay in the vehicle, walk her to the door so they can check her out. But as long as we can get into your primary position, then fine. Emergency rooms, hospitals right now, God, you're still pulling a risk when everything was fine back then in the day because everybody's sitting there for 4 hours just to get checked out by an ER guy. So who knows? I don't know.
Well, Anna Rita says, but Toss, the economy is suffering, so I guess that's why they're opening. I totally get it, but here's the thing. We may reach a point where there are too many sick workers to go to work anyway, right? That's very possible. So you won't have an economy, period.
And it's going to turn right back around and happen again. Yeah. Now, Steve, you're with the pharmaceutical stuff. So what do you think?
Well, I'm in retail pharmacy, but
Your opinion.
All I'll say is, for me, it's stressful. I just every week I have someone kind of going out with symptoms. Had at one point 4 people out, but luckily 3 of them have been negative. They got to have tests. One though, her mother has been diagnosed with COVID, and we were all around her. It's just so it stresses out. And on Monday we go back to regular hours, and we're here in Illinois, and we're still not opening up until June 1st.
There was
So we decided to go.
yeah.
So it's yeah.
Well, there's not enough testing. I
No.
guess there was a statement issued by the White House saying we hope to be up to 500 million tests a day. And the White House medical advisor, there is no way in hell on this planet or any other planet that we'll be doing 5 million tests in one day. You know, we have a lot of catching up to do. There's no question.
The thing that really brought it home to me, excuse me, the thing that really brought it home to me was seeing those semi-trailer sort of refrigerated trucks parked outside of the hospitals in New York. And what were they using them for? They were using them as makeshift morgues.
Yeah.
That's what brought it home to me. And,
Yeah, that's what I got for the news here. If you go to the hospital and you have COVID-19 and you don't make it, you go right to the crematorium with no funeral or nothing. Your family gets the ashes in a box, and that's it.
And we're a superpower.
the problem is the services are overwhelmed. Not just over in America, but in a lot of places in the world.
It's the world, man.
Yeah.
We're on global here.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to end the stream here for the people here in the YouTube chat so my friends and I can catch up. I wanted to thank everybody. On that happy note, sorry. But no, this was fun for 99% of it. Stay healthy out there in YouTube land. It was great to be back, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. So you guys know how to reach me if you have any questions or whatever. And have fun with your Ubuntu, whatever that you use, because ultimately it's a matter of your choice and what you like to use. So it's great seeing you again in the chat, and we will chat again. So take care and hail Caesar. I mean, hail Ubuntu. Just kidding. Bye-bye there, YouTube.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Y'all safe.